Welcome back, this is Grimweird, and of course our lovely avatar, Zombie Steve. And we are continuing our playthrough of Enigmatica 2 Expert Mod Pack for Minecraft 1.12. So one of the things we did was, in the last episode or two, we started opening up some Thaumcraft, some Astral Sorcery, maybe got to work a little on Botania today, and I crafted my Thaumometer. And inventory scanning is available, which is a huge upgrade from when I played Thaumcraft a few years back. So one of the things we need to do is we need to go through every box and inventory we have and just scan all of our stuff so that we can unlock some of the recipes in our book. And so I'm going to pause for a moment and do that. And we will be back in a bit and move on with the episode. But I just wanted to let you know that that's one of the things we got to get done so that we can continue on. And I got tons of stuff to scan across all of my boxes, and so it will take a bit, but I will return when that's all done. And I am done with all of my Thaumcraft thermometer scanning. One of the things I wasn't quite sure of, since Thaumcraft has changed quite a bit since the years ago when I used it, now that you can scan in your inventory, which I already did, I wasn't exactly sure if you could still scan things outside the world, so I did run around and apparently shift and right click. It says there's nothing new to learn because I already scanned that, but shift right click on all of your machines and stuff out in the world seems to still work, so that was good. Another thing I wasn't quite sure about was the drawer system, because I didn't want to have to pull everything out of drawers. So I started over here and I scanned a drawer, and I got something, but I wasn't sure if it was just for the drawer. So then I scanned the next drawer and I got something again, and so that told me it was scanning the things in the drawer. So then out of curiosity I came over and scanned the drawer controller, and it says it stopped after the first 100 items because the inventory was too large. So that was a real nice thing. So basically after a little bit of trial and error, I realized that I basically got everything but this top left corner. And then so I scanned a few more drawers up here and learned a few more things new. I scanned these drawers and learned about the powders. So that was excellent. And I don't know if that works here. Yeah, so I learned some stuff new from the things inside the chest. So that's a good thing. I didn't realize that at first, that you could just scan the chest and it would get some of the stuff inside. So that is great. We're all done with this. And now I think I'm going to take another little break, since that actually took me 10 or 15 minutes off camera, and try and figure out what we're going to do next for the rest of this episode. I'll be back shortly. Oh, and so one of the reasons I was doing this was that I wasn't sure I could make some of the further gates in Thaumcraft until I uncovered them in the Thaumonomicon book. So if we look around here, we've now got tons of observations on stuff. So I think that helps again. These are sort of the observations and theories thing is sort of new since the last time I used Thaumcraft a few years back. So let's see if there's anything else here that filled out when I was doing this. Still might have to learn how to play with the new research system. But this, observation fundamentals, observation. So I completed these. I don't know. So apparently I was measuring some sky while I was running around, and I think I completed this. Because last time I checked, I did not have that complete. So that helps, apparently. This is new from when I started, so I've got the plants and the silverwood and the shimmer leaf. So precantatio, and aurum, that is complete, so this is new. So that will hopefully open something up. Looks like I now have more recipes to deal with here. And let's see, this is not complete, so I guess I need to build those things. think that was a wand back when last time I used Thaumcraft, but now apparently you use some sort of caster's gauntlet instead of a wand. So I still need some research in alchemical metallurgy, and I need to discover artifice and oromancy. I think this is what I need to keep moving here, is discovering artifice, which requires research. So I will look into that, and we'll cover that in some future episode. But progress has been made, and so that is good. So again, I'm going to pause right now. That's probably as far as we're going to take Thaumcraft until I figure out what next to do on the research table. See if there was anything else we really wanted to get done. Oh, we want to get Nitor done. So we need the Yellow Nitor from Thaumcraft to make our cave illuminator in Astral Sorcery. That damned interconnectedness of this expert pack biting us in the ass again. And so Yellow Nitor is, I believe if I remember correctly, I'm going to be throwing something like maybe a torch and some charcoal into a crucible, and then tossing a glowstone in, and it'll turn into Yellow Nitor. So before the end of the episode, I want to try that, see if it is working. I'll need to figure out where to put my crucible. I think I need to put that over like some nether rack, a heat source. And I think it's been so long, but I think that cauldron or crucible can create flux, which is nasty. I'm not sure how that's, if that's, I'm thinking of the right system and if that works. So I got to figure out where I want to put it, both because I hate the sound of netherrack cooking and because I don't want any flux anywhere. So I might put that somewhere out of the way. It's not like I'll be using the crucible all the time. Maybe I'll throw it over in my noise that I hate room with the nether portal. Oops. Whoop, whoop, whoop. So maybe I'll just either stick it in the corner here or make a little addition to this room and use it here. Again, I don't think I'm going to be using the crucible all the time, so I don't really need it in my main base, crackling away with its netherrack and fluxing and generally being a pain in my ass. I love the rain. I love the little bouncy raindrops. Alright, so we'll work on that, and I'll be back shortly. Okay, so after I started to look at what we wanted to do next and realized that I still had backpacks full of junk from my last scavenging trip, and that we could do a few more things in Thaumcraft. So what I did real quick was if we go to our quest book here, I realized, so arcane stone, this recipe was still bothering me because it said %S fizz crystal, and so I thought maybe I needed to unlock it in the Thaum book, and then I thought maybe I needed to do something else, and then I clicked on this, and I wasn't sure what all the block drops were, and it said Salus Mundus could be created, blah blah blah, so I created some more Salus Mundus, and then finally I just realized that it wouldn't auto-populate. So if you do arcane stone and try to hit the button, even if you have stone on you, this never lights up. But if you just throw any old Viz crystal in there, it'll work. So mystery solved there. So we made the arcane stone, and I realized that when we opened up the crucible, we could do a quartz sliver, which is just putting some nether quartz in there and breaking it down. Piece of cake. And then I realized Viz crystals. Well, we got tons of Viz crystals, so I grabbed an air Viz crystal and we got that going. So we got some more loot boxes to open up here. I thought I'd do that with you guys in case we get anything exciting. A lit redstone lamp. That's a common reward and not too exciting. Cinnamon sugar donuts. Pam, you're making me hungry. Stop it. More food is good. Another gun turret. So, I tried this world a couple times before I decided, yeah, I wanted to play it through and run its full course. Um, they're giving me lots of guns. That's my third immersive engineering gun thing. I don't know what that's all about. I got 2 chem throwers now and 4 gun turrets. So if anybody joins me on this server, which of course they won't, but if they did, they better stay the freak away from my fort, because we're going to arm up. Anyway, so the other thing we did was I took a look at the Thaumometer to see if there was anything we could progress. And this thing, it's just an iron plate and a nether quartz with a couple crystals. We had all of that, so might as well make it. And this thing is just some iron ingots, the thing we just made, some leather, and our thermometer, and some crystals. We got all that, so I figured I'd go ahead and make that bad boy. So let's grab that leather. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm leaving this up on the drying rack because if I run out of leather and start taking this, it'll warn me that I need to make more. Alright, so we wanted 3 iron. Now auto populate some crystals. We want that and that. Now I wonder if this means I'm going to need to make a new thermometer to replace the one I'm using up here, or if the gauntlet will work as one. I'm not sure. We will find out though. It's also saying it's using 100 viz. I'm not sure how that works, but we're going to go ahead and grab this. And we have a caster's gauntlet. And this seems to be going up, so maybe that's just a timer. Maybe it's sucking, colorless viz out of the air, and it's just sort of a timer to keep you from mass-producing crap. So I'm not quite sure what to do to this. I'm not sure if it's a bauble or if you wear it somewhere. Okay, so apparently you put it in your offhand. And if I move it to my top, alright, well, I'll have to figure out what this thing does. I haven't played Thaumcraft back since you had like an actual wand. So, not quite sure what to do with that, but at least we made it. And if we open up this, we can now hit complete. And that looks good. My main stumbling block now is that in its current state, it is little more than a magical wrench. So it's drawing viz from a small area around me. Yada yada. So apparently this is sort of like the wrench from many of the industrial ones. So I'll just leave it on my hand for now and see what it do, and maybe read up on it a bit later. So I think I still need to also read up on the research and actually start playing around with the research table to crack these guys open. So now that is probably really as far as we're going to take, as far as we're going to take the Thaumcraft for now. So what to do next? While I was cleaning out my inventory, I remembered for the 18th time that I have caught a couple of cows in my golden lassos, and I need to go set up a cattle ranch just to get them breeding, because somewhere in the next several episodes I'm going to need to set up a slaughterhouse and get some pink slime. Poor cows. But anyway, so maybe I'll run and do that real quick. It's lovely weather to be out playing with fences and cows, right? Be back shortly. So I am off to start my farm of cows somewhere, but I thought I haven't shown people my hemp farm. It has sort of blossomed, and I'm now capable of making a lot of hemp. I've already got a bunch stored up. I'm probably about at the point where I don't need any more, unless I find another use for it. But what I'm going to be using these for is making tough fabric and using it to insulate wires for immersive engineering. because I will run into wiring and I will shock myself if I don't insulate it. Apparently that's a change in immersive engineering, but I'd never really played much with immersive engineering in the old days. So when I tested it out last week, I definitely found that the insulated wire was the way to go for me, because I will walk into it and will shock myself. So I'm probably going to harvest this time on my way through and then just sort of let it sit. I might change this over to a different crop. I might start a crop of canola or start a crop of wheat, something else here. Do a little crop rotation. Again, I'm not really needing a lot of agricultural stuff right at the moment. I'm sure I will eventually. But right now I'm just sort of getting prepared for a few things that I know I'll need to do, like feed a bunch of cows and insulate a bunch of wires. And then as I figure out more stuff that I need, I'll start up some new crops. There are so many bone outcrops. While I was out running around last time, I found another one of those giant bone skulls. It probably had hundreds of bone blocks in it. So when I do need another crop, I can make a couple of stacks of bone meal really easy, and I can just ramp up production of a new crop real fast. So, hello, Dorper Ram. So anyway, I'm going to harvest this and then continue on with my setting up my cattle ranch. Alright, so I decided that if anybody watched the charcoal pit episode, then you'll remember that I put down a 12 by 12 layer of wood pile that allowed me to basically turn 576 logs into something like, 1,100 some odd charcoal. And I've decided that there's very likely no way that I will ever need to use the charcoal pit again. So since I already have this flat spot sort of cleared out, I took off the top layer of dirt and I'm going to set up my cattle ranch right here. So basically what I'm looking for here is there is let's take a look. I'm a ways away from building it. I got almost 4 stacks of industrial hemp fiber from my hemp farm. And let's see, we are going to be making industrial foregoing. What we need to get is the mob slaughter factory and pink slime. And the mob slaughter factory is... I don't think we have all the machines we need to make all the things that we need quite yet. Plastic, we're actually maybe not too far away from making plastic. Advanced machine casing. Carbon plates, we need a compressor from Industrial Craft. So we can't actually make the mob slaughter factory now, but what it does is that it will take an area, and the sun's going down, it will take an area and basically slaughter all the animals in that area and it will create liquid meat and pink slime from that. You do not get any drops like meat or leather or anything, but it will create liquid meat and liquid pink slime, which you can then use for other things. So how I did that when I tried this out was there's also a baby animal filter. Let's see where that is. Animal baby separator. So what this will do is it will take an area that you give it. Most of these industrial foregoing ones have range add-ons, so their default range is just sort of one square in front of them, but you can add range add-ons to do a bigger area. So you basically tell it how big of an area you want, and it'll pull all the baby animals to it and shove it out the other side. So how we're going to set this up is we're going to have sort of probably a 10 by 10 area, that is affected by the animal feeder, which is another one of these. So the animal feeder. So this will feed things, I think, up to a herd of 36 in pulses and keep them breeding. So we'll set up an animal feeder and we'll put in a range add-on to make it about a 10 by 10 area, or 11 by 11. We'll put a +9 in it, which I think is 10 by 10. And it'll feed things up until we hit 36 cows and keep them breeding. And then we'll put like a baby animal separator here, so when the baby animals appear, they will get sucked over, and then there will be a mob slaughter factory that will make us turn that into veal. I know this is absolutely horrible. If any vegans are watching, I apologize. It's just a game. No cows are actually being hurt. But then that will just take those baby animals and turn them into liquid meat and pink slime. Lovely. So that's what we're going to set up here. And so I'm going to set up a fenced-in area. I actually may go the other direction. So the other thing I'm probably going to want to do is I'm not going to want to run power out here, and I don't need to run it constantly. So probably what I'll do is I'll set up a solar collector out here and run it off of solar and power it that way. So I'm going to also need like a little area for a solar collector and for a network controller, and I'm going to be able to need to run some power to the various machines, both the feeder and controller, and then probably over here to the baby animal separator, and then over here to the mob slaughterer. So that's what we're looking at setting up here, and I'm going to set up some fencing and sort of map out where I want to put all this stuff, and I will show you what it looks like in a moment. Okay, I think we got our new cattle ranch all set up. As I was laying things out, I got to thinking that the one I tried out on my last world before this series, it was good, but it could be better, and I'm all about the continuous improvement. So I did make a few changes. So some of the things we got going on is now we've got the fence posts are 15 by 15 for the main cattle enclosure. So that will be like 14 by 14 of actual cow standing position. I did this because your herd gets up to 36 cows in here, and I think last time it was smaller, and it just was really sort of cramped. The cows looked very unhappy. Not that they should be happy, but whatever. I just felt like it was more aesthetically pleasing if the cows would have a little bit more space. The other thing I did was last time I set up things sort of across from each other. That just was what first thing that popped into my head. So I set up the animal feeder and the control network and the solar panels on one side, and then we sucked baby animals out with the baby animal separator, and then killed them with the animal slaughterer here, and then had some drums for liquid meat and pink slime. But as I started to do that and look at the space I had, I realized that if I made them on adjacent sides instead of opposite each other, then that would save me a few pieces of piping or cabling for power. So I moved them on similar sides. So this machine will be the animal feeder, and it will basically do like a 14 by 14 area out into this, and will attempt to feed every once in a while all the animals that are out there if they are breedable, and then that will make babies. And then this will be the baby animal separator, and whenever a baby appears, it will suck it into this kill box, and then this animal slaughterer will harvest the veal and turn it into liquid meat and pink slime, liquid pink slime. So this is going to be our thing. And another thing I decided to do was I made myself a little fenced-in area here just to keep any creepers or any other things from bothering my getting too close to my machines here. I may extend some fencing around here too, just to make sure that I don't have some creeper wander up while I'm tinkering here and blow up this machine. But the other thing I wanted to do is I thought to myself that what I do is I don't like having my mob farm also near my base too much because it's loud and it's a pain in the butt and yada yada, and I'll need a way to power it too, so I might as well kill two birds with one stone. So I left myself enough room here. I'm going to dig down here and actually put my spawner mob farm underneath this. So when I feel like I want to run some monsters and do that, I can just come over here, load up a bunch of wheat into the animal feeder, go downstairs. I'll be within 16 blocks of the spawners if I'm standing over here. So they'll start spawning like crazy. And then the mob slaughterer will do the same kind of thing. I'll make it smaller and underneath the cattle ranch. And whenever anything spawns for the mob slaughterer down there, then it will kill them and harvest liquid experience and harvest any of their loot. So that one, it actually does get you loot and experience, whereas this one just gets you liquid meat and pink slime from your animals. So I'll kill two birds with one stone. That will just leave me one big solar array or windmill out here to power both of these little farms. And I can't even imagine running the mob farm non-stop, so it doesn't bother me to come over here to the spawners to activate the spawners and then just stand around AFK while they chug through things, because they'll fill up chests with a bunch of armor pretty quick, and I won't have to do too much of that, I don't think. So there you go, we are ready. And without further ado, hopefully I brought my cows. Yes, so here are my golden lassos from an episode or two ago. And another reason I wanted to get this out of the way is that whenever I go on my next foraging mission, I might, pull up a couple more cows just to speed the breeding process along. And we have cows. And the other reason I wanted to do this, even though I can't make all of these machines I've been talking about, is that I will want to get this herd up to 36 cows as I'm working towards these 3 machines. So now I've freed up my golden lassos, and I will pick up more cows as I see them when I'm out about doing other things, and I will bring them over here and throw out another round of breeding every once in a while manually, and then by the time I get all the machines, we will have a herd and ready to harvest them. So there we go. We have a cattle ranch with a soon-to-be sub-basement for a spawner farm. Alright, so now I guess I can teleport back to base. And I'm going to pause here again, check what kind of time I got on this episode, and then figure out what else we want to cover in this episode. Alright, I am back after a brief running around and trying to get things organized. So a couple things I did. I made myself a new thermometer to make up for the one that we spent crafting our gauntlet. It said something about in the notes about scanning the sky, so I scanned the sky and got some celestial solar notes and various moon and stellar quadrant pattern crapiola stuff that I don't understand quite yet. So I don't know what I'm doing, but at least I'm getting it done. That's the way I look at it. So we'll hold on to those until we figure out what they're for. I also, Thaumcraft has changed a lot since I was used to it, so I'm still not 100% sure what's going on with the whole flux and taint thing, but I did want to make sure that if I was doing anything stupid until I figure out what I'm doing, I wanted to get this sort of to a chunk that I'm not using, so I'm out at the corner of another chunk, and I've got my crucible out here. And I've set up a little catch basins in case anything like ooze or goo comes out of it. And got some netherrack burning. And I double checked. The nice thing is that nowadays you can actually search for lux. For instance, we need some lux to craft our Yellow Nitor. And if you come to the second page, it'll show you the aspect that is on all these items. So I was able to take a quick look and see if there was anything, um, interesting that wouldn't leave a lot of leftover essentia floating around. But I didn't see anything to work that's going to work too great. Um, so to make the Yellow Nitor, we need 10 of the, I think it's Potentia, the little lightning in a fist or whatever that is, and 10 Ignis, and we need 10 Lux. And I'm going to have to burn a little of whatever the Owl Essentia is. We're going to have a little of that left over. But, that's not too bad. Hopefully, I mean, I'm sure it's fine this early in the game. I just want to get used to and get in the habit of monitoring that so that I don't fill this chunk with taint and have to move my base and anything weird like that. So let's go ahead and see if we can get that Yellow Nitor moving. So we got tons of charcoal, so I'm going to throw one of those in. Then I'm going to throw in some glowstone, and then I will throw in a second glowstone, and hopefully that will turn into Yellow Nitor. It's been like 5 years since I've done this, but let's see what happens. So we got that in there, we got that in there, and poof, Yellow Nitor. Sweet. Alrighty, we're golden. So that I'm going to use to make the Cave Illuminator in Astral Sorcery. So next time we will make that and set it up. See if that got me anywhere. I don't think I needed to do that for the Thaumometer book, but I did get a new ding for my quest book here, so I will claim that loot chest and see what we got. A Nether Star, legendary drop. Well, that seems good. I have. I think I went to the end once, like 5 years ago. So getting things like Nether Stars and end material and fighting the Ender Dragon, that's all sort of. I still consider that crap new. So I mean, most people playing this mod pack have probably done that 100 times. But for me, it's good to have some stuff from that without having to go there yet, because I'm going to need to feel comfortable before I go there, which means getting a lot of crap in the overworld done first. All right, so I can't help myself. I'm going to take a look real quick, see what kinds of things we can do with a Nether Star. A dragon egg mill, alrighty. Need 2 of them for that, but let's see, what else do we got? We got some sort of wyvern thing. I know that's into the game. I have never played with Draconic Evolution. That was not even a twinkle in my eye the last time I played this game. I've never done blood magic at all, so penance ritual, I have no idea what that is, but we can maybe get into that eventually. So there is lots of stuff like this. Wow. I'm going to end up having 8 million episodes of this because there's so much that I don't know about so much of this stuff. So yeah, I think it's probably a good thing to have another star. I don't want to waste it on something, but I'm glad to have it. And I'm sure I will find some good use for it in the future. And so on that note, we will call it an episode. And next time we're going to make the Cave Illuminator. And probably what I'll do, just to show you, I did play with that a bit when I was testing out this mod pack, is we still have this dungeon over here, which is like sort of a cobblestone roof, if I recall correctly, with a winding staircase down to, I think, some rooms and some spawners. So what I'll do is I'll probably run over there, throw the Cave Illuminator on that, let it marinate for a while to let the little sparks of light shine through this whole area, and then we'll go back and see if that makes that an easy clean out. I don't think it'll stop spawners, but it should stop everything else from spawning due to low light conditions. So that'll be a good test. So that's coming up next episode. And then we'll also, I there's so many things to do in parallel that I'm just sort of going with my whim of the moment. But we'll see what else we can do. If that's going to be a pretty short episode, we'll find something else to look at too. Until then, I will talk to you later. Bye.